Oh,
That's
it
why I
blocked it
was
out for you
like,
too? Okay.
I think so.
We're
Like my eyes
live,
are swimming.
I think. Almost.
Guess I can just share here. Go there.
Meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
All right, 180. You said 185?
Yep,
I just typed
185.
that. Yep. Okay. All right, we'll have a
So,
loose start. I'll go ahead and get it started. Three, two, one. Good evening, Endless Ranters. Welcome back for episode 185 of your Endless Ranters podcast. We do what we want and we appreciate your support. My name is Chris, and I'm a mostly peaceful dad from North Texas and one of your hosts for this evening. I'm joined by other hosts, or one other host. It's Kwana. It's a soggy mom living in the crunchy mom's world. How you doing?
wonderful. Excited.
Me too, because we
Yeah.
have a special guest. It's Russ from the Two Grumpy Bastards podcast. It's Russ, our, well, yeah, our resident
Bastard.
worldly expert. Yeah,
Grumpy bastard.
bastard, grumpy bastard, world expert.
All around arrogant know-it-all. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, know it
I
all,
love
but you
that.
back it up. You back it up. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna, yeah.
Fun.
I see people coming at you, and I see them fall.
Oh,
I love it when
you
they
missed one
try.
exchange I had with somebody who was talking about how we need to take all the money from Elon Musk. And I was like, well, you know what? You don't take money from rich people just because you think they have too much. And this guy tried to come back and
Yeah,
say, well, we'll bring back the guillotines the way the French did. You need to get out of the way or join the bourgeois. And I'm
yeah,
like, dude, I
we could
don't think
take.
advocacy of genocide is really the path you want to go down.
Yeah, I mean, our at this point, all hope is lost. Our education system has
I
created
was gonna
a
say I would have lost
zombie
that
army.
fight with bourgeois. I wouldn't have been able to type it out.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, all we got to do is, I mean, you realize like if you take all Elon Musk's money, that's like 3 months of Ukraine war.
Maybe
Like,
four.
oh yeah, I mean, it depends if it's winter or summer.
Yeah.
If it's winter, it's three. It's summer, it's four. But the idiocy,
Well,
the idiocy.
I did see a clip on YouTube. This makes me shake my head for hope for society. Someone was like, well, Elon's got $290 billion. Doesn't he realize that if no, Elon's got $200 billion. Don't folks realize if he gave $1 billion to every single person, he'd still have 190 billion?
That was like an MSNBC host, even. Like that was like a person that has a job on television that said some shit
That
like
math
that.
is not mathing, right?
No, it's not
I
mathing right
mean,
at all.
okay, good. I smoked a
Yeah,
little before the show.
there was someone that said there was like a like an MSNB, like a person that gets paid to talk on the television, that said something like that, or wrote an article for the New York Times that said that if we just took all of Elon Musk's wealth, we could give $1 million to every American
Yeah, I remember seeing
because
something
they
like
just
that.
like their calculator
Just
was broken.
cause. Just cause. We'll just go take his money. No big
Well,
deal.
and
They
I'm
just
sure
they
you'd
just
get
did
it from
some
Elon because
really like
the richest man in the world would have no way to defend himself from that.
Of course
it
not.
was
Of
just
course not.
amazing because it was, I think it was a New York Times journalist who just did some really bad math in their head. And they were like 200 billion, 200 million people. Bam, that's
Seems
a
like
million
that
dollars every.
works.
That's $1 million. It's so even. It's perfect.
I'm like, even my youngest, who's in fifth grade, knows that math doesn't work out that way.
Yeah, it's amazing. But they've been saying, I'm at the point where they've been saying that crap. People have been saying that crap about just confiscate the wealth. If we just
Well,
confiscate the wealth from the 1%, we get, and
again,
it's and yeah.
my guillotine buddy, I'm like, all right, big boy, stop talking and do it. Get off your ass. Stop, bitching about it online. If you're gonna do it, get off your ass. Show us that your balls are as big as your bald spot. Okay? Try it. Don't just sit there in your mama's basement. Do something. Let's see how it works out for you.
Yeah, I'd like to see Soy Team 6 take over a Tesla Gigafactory. You know what I mean? That'd be awesome. Because they got cameras. They got cameras in like 8K, right?
I think Elon would probably stream it on X.
You would. It's like, everybody. Hashtag Soy Team 6.
Oh my
I've not heard Soy Team 6 before. I'm gonna have to start using
Oh
that.
yeah.
That's great.
There's a
That's
meme going around
great.
there's a meme going around of like an actual picture of a bunch of trans weirdos in a car.
Oh boy.
and they have like made up uniforms.
Well, I don't know if y'all.
They have name tags, and they have makeup on,
Okay.
and they're like, "Ooh,"
Calm
and
down.
and they posted something like, "We're on our way."
Remember
Um,
when everyone was gonna like storm Area 54? Like there was a bunch of people like in what was that,
Yeah,
2020 or 2019? It
like
was before COVID, right? They
I
were all gonna
also
storm it.
I was also like, let's storm Area 51, but you first.
Okay.
yeah.
51.
Well, I,
Sorry.
I don't know if y'all know who Larry Correia is.
I do
Um,
I
not.
don't think so.
he's an author. He's a writer. He writes the Monster Hunter international book series. It's very good stuff. But uh, he's very hardcore conservative libertarian. He's got his own gun range. He's written a book about the Second Amendment. He's very knowledgeable and very good with guns. Some dumbass Democrat wannabe congressperson from New York named Nate McMurray challenged him to a duel on X because Correa
A duel.
can be somewhat caustic and takes people down probably a lot better than even I do. And he really lit into this dude because the guy wants to confiscate all weapons and at least all assault weapons. He might want to confiscate them all. I don't know.
Oh man,
And the guy was like,
I talk so much shit, and I don't even have a gun range of my own.
"Yeah," but I'm
If
like,
I had a
picking a
gun
duel
range of
with a
my
guy
own,
who's
oh
got
my,
his own gun range is probably not the
yeah.
best survival tactic.
Right. A duel.
Yeah, it was funny.
I worry to think about what I would do if I did have my own gun range. No, that's not a good idea. Being the type of confidence that like you could if you own your own gun range, like you can be caustic on the internet.
Yeah,
Like
I think so.
you could speak your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
Even the government's just like,
We'll leave you alone.
it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Let's go round up some other let's go round up some
If you get a
anybody
chance,
else.
Google this guy Nate McMurray, and see what he looks like. He would be the head of Soy Team Six.
Nate
Okay.
McMurray. That name sounds more
Boy.
familiar.
Well, he's run for Congress in New York 26 once or twice.
I probably saw the story about the duel.
It just happened today, is
Oh,
when I
it
was
did.
on Correa's
Okay.
feed.
Maybe he's had some other stuff.
He looks like a soy boy Fruit Loop.
My goodness.
So Team 6 is new. I'm so happy that I was able to present some new information to Russ.
I
Yeah,
like it. I'm
that's
gonna start
good.
using that.
You're a real
have you ever heard of there's a guy on the internet on Rumble, YouTube. No, not he got kicked off YouTube, but he's on X. His name's Steve Inman,
I've heard of
and
him.
he's an MMA like
Okay.
broadcaster, but he takes like street fight videos and does his MMA broadcasting over top of it.
Yeah,
And his whole
I've
thing
seen
is
a
like
couple of his things.
instant karma, instant justice. And he throws that soy. Here he's like, here comes Soy Team 6. And then they just get wrecked. The general theme of those videos is like somebody steps up to somebody that they shouldn't have. Some soy
Yeah.
boy steps up to like an old man who's just got 40 years of rage in him, like like at a bus stop, some young kid like flips off the hat of like a 55-year-old man
Yeah.
who's been through it, and then just the 55-year-old just delivers a whooping, just pound some 25-year-old kid into the ground. It's like,
I need half a second real quick. My dogs are barking and they don't normally do that. Give me
yeah,
half a
no
second.
problem. Yeah, no problem.
You think it's by coincidence that soy is 100% genetically modified in our country and it actually does make people like grow boobs and like it's
Yeah,
got some
it's
real
that's why
negative effects.
it's the perfect insult.
It's in everything. So hard to
Yeah, and
avoid.
I think even what's even what's even more amazing about the soy phenomena in America is that it's terrible for the environment.
Ugh, I love those little edamame beans too, and you can't even eat them. They're just
I love how,
awful.
yeah, it's just like, man,
I know. They're trying to kill us. They don't even care.
All right, I'm back. My next door neighbor's having a party.
Ah,
Ooh, fun for them.
They didn't invite me.
yeah.
Oh,
Smart. Smart.
been there, buddy. My neighbors too.
I have
Just
one
Russ,
set
kidding.
of good neighbors that are great, and one set of neighbors that we just kind of try to leave each other alone.
Russ rolls in with his cooler of Big Red. Let's get this
Beer
party
wine.
started. A cheer, cheer, cheer wine. That cheer wine is good.
I gotta have some cheer wine in the house at all times.
Cheer
What is
wine is
that?
good.
Like
What
a
is that?
very rich cherry cola, like a very
Yeah,
rich
like
cherry Coke.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
They call it the nectar of North Carolina
It's got flavor
I've never even
profiles.
heard of it.
It's got flavor
Okay.
because you're in
profiles. I'll give it that.
California.
You think I can get it here? Put a picture in the group.
Yeah,
The
it's
only
like
place I've seen it
$7 a
outside
bottle.
of the only place I've seen it outside of either North Carolina, South Carolina, or Tennessee, where I have not. The only place I've seen it outside of those is at like a world market.
Are you saying cheer, like cheer?
Yeah, like cheer,
Just
go, like
spelled that
Okay.
cheer
you're getting some
wine.
Okay.
corn. Yeah,
It's in
cheer.
a
Okay.
clear glass bottle with like red print, maybe red
Yep,
print on
that's
it.
what it is. And you got to drink
Uh,
it in the
Okay.
glass bottle. That's how it's best.
oh yeah, yeah. I miss the days
So
where
you
you
don't mix
if
it? It's
you
not
if you
like
wanted to buy
so.
if you wanted to drink a Coca-Cola, like it was in a bottle.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
soda's always better in a bottle, a
So is
glass bottle.
beer, in my opinion.
What's
I
that?
prefer beer in a
So is
can.
beer. I like beer in
I'm
a
not a
bottle.
beer drinker, so I
I
can't speak.
prefer beer in a
Oh,
can. I don't know why.
I I
It's
don't
lighter. The can's lighter. It's like less calories burned.
oh,
I
gotcha.
I don't like beer. Call me un-American, but I'm not a beer drinker.
That's all right.
All right, we would never call you an American, Russ.
Hey, as long as
That
you're
would
as
be
hey,
un-American.
as long as you're drinking a carbonated beverage, you're fine by me, brother.
Amen.
Carbonated. You got to drink a carbonated beverage.
Yeah. Although I do that on the weekends. I try to stay away from soda and sugars during the week.
Well, yeah, you don't be get
So good
diabetes or
for you.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I got back from summer vacation, I was almost 200 pounds. I managed to lose about, over 20 pounds of that, and I've gained 9 of it back since the holidays. So I need to figure out how to
Well,
cut
there's
some.
a lot of barbecue, a lot of sweet
And a
tea
lot
and
of
barbecue.
I always Summer bodies are made in the winter, so this is when we gotta really buckle down, right?
The
Get it
well,
food
I mean,
together.
culture,
and for me
the
to
food,
like display that physique,
I
Yeah,
think
there you
the
go.
food culture in North Texas where I live in this like weird like suburbia, Texas suburbia is like the food culture is not good. I'm
really,
probably better off for that.
I always kind of figured Texas to be, barbecue and all kinds of
Yeah,
good stuff.
everywhere.
Not in neighborhoods that are 2 years old, where
Oh,
every house within 5 square miles or 5 mile radius is like less than 5 years old. There's
Called
no,
kale and tofu.
you can't have like this. Everything's just chain restaurants, and it's like,
oh my gosh.
what's the point?
Wow.
It's not an established enough area in this area to have a mom
Decent
and
family
like a
barbecue
mom and
or
pop place. And then even if you
right.
did, those people eventually die, and like most of the mom and pop places from your youth are not around anymore. They've been replaced by a
Hey,
smorgasbord or whatever the hell.
Chris, we got a place near where I live that you would love. It's called Tacos and Sushi.
Tacos and sushi.
Yep.
Yeah,
My
man.
daughter
Keep it
loves it.
simple. Keep it simple.
My oldest,
You know,
I always joke that my oldest was reincarnated from a little Japanese girl because she's into everything Japanese, from anime to sushi to like the kimono robes.
man,
Mm.
Japan, a story for another day, but man, they really played it right. Can you like if you talk about like in all the history of like nations marketing themselves and like rebranding and changing direction, Japan.
Even their
Well,
prostitution is beautiful, like the geishas, you know?
It's classy. It's classy.
So
uh,
It's
romanticized.
like you don't get to be a prostitute in this country unless you put in 10 years of training.
Exactly.
I'm
You
not,
tie your feet up to be small, like get it together,
You
bitch.
have to be a novice or a junior tradesman prostitute first, or
yeah,
what is it?
you can only have sex with certain people, and then yeah,
You got to take care of the good
Oh yeah,
prostitutes
apprentice.
before you
Yeah,
can,
I was
yeah.
gonna say apprentice. You have to be an apprentice prostitute first in their system.
I,
Exactly,
I
exactly.
do know that a couple of atom bombs, washing away your cities might change your country just a little bit.
It is that simple, isn't it?
Let's hope we don't.
That could explain the change of heart.
Yeah, a couple of atom bombs and one firebombing of their capital.
And I'm laughing, but it's like it's the sadness. That's a lot of sadness right there in their culture. Like, I don't care how proud you are and how much the emperor is just like go rah rah, but it's like you just lost all your family.
Yeah, but you know
Well, you
what?
guys really know
It
how to
saved my
take it
grandfather that was
down.
on a
There's no
jet
fight
transport,
left.
and he
There's
knows
no
what's up.
fight left. Like, what are you fighting for? Like, I better change my ways. Like, everybody around me just got wiped out.
But they found out what the find out part of FAFO meant.
They sure did. They sure did.
AFO. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here tonight, Russ. Because yeah, I was telling the group earlier, I got to stop watching these FAFO videos because, like, and the Steve Inman, because they're so hilarious and they're addictive because it's instant justice.
Oh yeah, no, I like the karma videos, like the MMA fighter that like tries kicking people in the back and they turn around and they
Oh
slug
yeah,
him
yeah,
halfway
yeah, yeah.
across the room.
Those are good. That's good. That's good content. And that's something about the human race is that's good content. We like that. Like, because I noticed Facebook a lot. There's a lot of videos coming at me on Facebook about like yeah, instant karma and an MMA fight where one fighter at the weigh-in is really brash,
Oh yeah.
right? And is like taunting the other guy, but then they flash forward to the fight the next night,
Yep.
Yeah.
and the quiet guy just
But
destroys the brash. Like,
that's because the other guy was just peacocking because that's all he
yeah,
had.
yeah, yeah. And then I hope that, people see a pattern like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like
those are always fun.
we forgot that the peacocks are that way, that you know, we forgot about the punching the bully in the nose type of thing. And
But they peacock because they don't want to get into a fight.
yeah, we got so obsessed with like understanding the bully and the broken home that he came from and why he's
Oh my
doing the things
goodness.
instead of just like punching him right in the nose.
Hmm.
Like, no, we need to understand the bully.
No, we don't.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. Oh, I understand him. It took 10 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nobody needs to do their thesis on
Are
understanding
they
bullies.
all beat up videos, like the F around and find out videos? Are they all
Uh,
like
some of them
talking
are
and then
like
getting
stupid criminal decides to rob a gun store.
gotcha. Okay.
You can fill in
Yeah, okay. I
what
got it.
happens and how hilarious it
Yeah,
is. And
that makes sense.
yeah.
And this is going to
I
be
love how
only.
everyone's algorithm is what it is. Like I'm like
Yeah.
cats, plants, conspiracies. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
Let's see.
I
The
Yeah.
also
people who
have
are
cats doing
watching.
sneak attacks on each other. I see cat videos too, but they're like fighting cats.
Well,
Okay.
this is only tangentially related to the topic, but one of my favorites that I saw out there was the a group of kids that were doing a Roman candle fight, and they set it to the Harry Potter music.
Oh boy.
I
That's
did Roman
funny.
candle fights when I was in
Oh
high
well,
school.
I think all of us
Yeah, man,
stupid
that was
boys
good.
did those when we were teenagers.
Hmm.
But yeah,
I mean, I did rock. Yeah, rock. Like Roman candle fights were like a natural progression from rock fights.
yeah,
We just throw rocks at each other.
yeah. Whoever's writing the algorithm for my YouTube videos has got to be thinking that I'm mentally insane because I'll go everything from watching, clips of Cobra Kai to
How to make a
movie
beef Wellington.
reactors to cute animal stories and everything in between.
Yeah.
I'll pull
Yeah.
up Bill Maher 1 second, and then I'll pull up, Charlie Kirk the next.
Well, that's good because you're ungovernable and you're unalgorithmable. I just
I'm
made up a new
also
word.
ungoogleable pretty much. So
Yeah.
Nice.
I've told you
So
that, haven't I, Juana?
speaking of
No.
You wanna
Why?
know why I'm ungoogleable?
No, my husband
Google the
is
name
too.
Russ Meyer and see what comes up.
Okay.
oh, that's
My
right.
husband, let's see what it is.
She's gonna do it.
Oh no, should I not do it?
No, you should
Is
definitely do it.
it?
It's probably
I
okay.
don't know how to do like to turn it. Like my son said there's like a privacy mode or something you're supposed to. I don't know how to do that. So is this gonna
Don't
mess
worry
my
about
phone
it.
up?
Nah,
No, it shouldn't. You just get the Google results. Just
just
Russ
type
Meyer and get the
anything.
Google results.
No, I'm not gonna do it. You scared me now.
I'm not scared. Come on. All the cool kids are doing it.
No, they're
He's
not.
a porn star.
No, he's a porn
Oh yeah,
producer.
no way.
The Russ Meyer from the early
I need to
70s. My
change my
parents
name.
swear to God they didn't know that when they named me, but I don't believe them. Was
Yeah.
Russ Meyer in the first, I don't know, 5 pages that come up are all of his. He was into what they called breastploitation. He had movies with large chested women. Um,
Okay.
in the Valley of the Dolls, Naked West, uh,
Gotcha.
all the
Good
fun
to know.
softcore stuff. It's
Never,
why
yeah.
it's very
Now I
hard
know
to
where
pick
you
up
get
on.
your smarts from. Your parents were
Yeah.
genius. Your parents were geniuses. They foresaw the future and the dangers
That
of
I
the
was
internet.
gonna like have no
Yeah.
luck with women until my mid-20s. Sure.
No, they foresaw the future where like people would want to Google you and like and they were like, no, I better not. Like don't even try. Like don't even try. Like you can Google me, but you know,
Just be prepared.
yeah. But yeah, I was
Yeah.
starting to think like what would be some good names to name your kids nowadays to not make it zero, but like lessen the chance that anyone would ever type their name into a search engine and a second time. Like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like they would like search your kid's name
Uh,
and it would have nothing to do with your kid, but it would be so abhorrent that they'd be like, I'm gonna leave this kid alone.
Yeah.
if
I
your
don't want to
last name is
ever
Jameson, you name him Jenna.
Oh my gosh, I love her. Don't get me started. I'm obsessed with Jenna
I
G.
mean,
I've never
porn
seen a
stars,
movie of hers,
isn't
but
she
I
dead?
love her.
Didn't
No,
she
she's
die?
not.
No.
Nope,
I
she
thought she
got really,
died.
really sick, but she's back on her feet. She's married to a woman now.
Oh, I was gonna guess she found the Lord, but yeah,
I've actually seen
coin
a
toss.
few of those videos of the OnlyFans girls that suddenly found Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, God bless them. It's time. Everybody should be searching.
Mhm.
Well, they're searching for the grift.
Never been a better time to search
But most
Jesus.
folks that are searching for OnlyFans are finding other stuff. So
Yeah. It's like whatever gets the most subscriptions, and if it's like being super religious gets me paid, yeah.
Nice.
But they're just doing like the televangelist. I mean, it's like a micro version of televangelists who are
yeah,
just like,
I
hey,
grew up
this
in
is
North Carolina. The televangelists in North Carolina with Jim Baker and Tammy Faye Baker. They were
were
big.
they in
Yes.
North
Oh
Carolina?
Oh
my
I
yeah,
mean, to
gosh.
me,
Gary Falwell.
they were just on my grandmother's
Yes.
TV. They were on my grandmother's TV big time.
1,000,000%. My mom too.
Yeah,
Oh
what was
boy.
Yep.
the name of the there was like an amusement park hotel place near where I grew up.
Tam-
Um,
yeah.
I can't remember the name of it. It was like it
Yeah, Jim
actually I
and
think
Tammy Faye had a theme park, I think, right?
Yeah.
yeah, they made. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Fletch 2. With
Yeah,
Chevy
yeah, that was
Chase.
based on that. Yeah.
Basically,
I mean, who didn't?
yeah. Well, basically they made fun of it when they had Bible Land.
Was that Arlie? Who was the pastor? Was that Arlie Ermy as the pastor?
Yeah, yeah, that was the dude that played the drill sergeant on Full Metal
Oh,
Jacket. Was the pastor.
My
I mean,
favorite ACS
I think
guest.
about him a
That's my
lot.
favorite ACS guest. I love that he owned a whorehouse in Vietnam. Like, he is my favorite Adam Carolla guest. Love him. God, I love him. RIP. RIP.
Yeah,
I
I think
loved
about him a
him.
lot in all those roles he played, but that's the one that I just realized like, yeah, he played that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
He
see,
played the
that was actually the
pastor.
first thing I ever saw him in, because I mean, I
Probably
didn't
me
see Full
too.
Metal
Yeah.
Jacket when it first came out.
Yeah, probably me too. Oh yeah, I was yeah, my parents were not a lot letting us watch any R-rated movie.
Oh no, the first
Oh
R-rated movie that I
boy.
remember seeing was RoboCop.
Bro.
Yeah,
My
that was
mom
like
let
I
me
had to
see
wait,
the
wait till
most.
like late in high school to see that.
Yeah,
I remember
when the Ed 209 blew away the other executive, and me and my brother were like, oh, and I was like, I think I was 11 or 12, and I was like, oh, and my dad was like, okay, I don't know if we should have let you watch this.
I was making a joke last week about how like you need to, you know, today you have to like protect your kids from like online predators and Roblox and Minecraft, you know.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
Yes.
like my parents were like they made the mistake of going to Errol's Video, which was like before Blockbuster, and renting the movie Johnny Dangerously.
Uh-huh.
You remember that?
Oh,
Yeah.
Thinking that
it was like,
because it was PG.
Yep.
yes.
And then it started
There was like
playing.
a car scene, right? Wasn't there like a car scene?
They started playing, and then Johnny Danger. The whole thing was like he would make up he did these whacked out curse words. Like he would call people Fargan Ice Hole
Yep.
and
Oh,
you son of a biscuit and Fargan
yeah, I
Ice
guess
Hole.
so.
And that started playing, and they started talking like this Fargan Ice Hole and this son of a biscuit. And my parents like flew out of the kitchen, like doing a shoulder roll to like hit the VCR so hard to stop it. That's
My
kind of where I
gosh.
was.
Well, I remember
Yeah,
going to the
they
movies
were
to see
hard.
Dragnet with Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks. and being so excited when they were in the strip club and you got to almost see an entire boob.
Yeah. We were very, yeah, they really tried to shelter us from that. That and nuclear war. 'Cause I remember
Oh,
like back in the 80s, they were always showing like videos of the nuclear bombs going off and the destruction and the
my
reenactments.
my parents made me go to bed early the night that they showed the day after.
That's funny.
Yes, man. My like we would be like, "What's this movie?" And they'd be like, "Shut up."
Yeah, my parents were like, "You're going to
Like
bed now. You're not going to watch
my
this."
parents were like, "You're not even going to get up that day. You're gonna wake up. You're gonna get in bed, and you're gonna stay in bed. You're not even gonna get dressed. You're gonna stay. You're never gonna see this
It's
movie."
called the day after because you're in bed the whole day that it's on. The
They
next
were
day is
really like my
the day
parents.
that you get to.
It was like a massive concerted effort back then to
How
not
old
let
were you?
kids
What
watch.
year did that come out?
1983, I think,
I
or
was 11.
1984,
I was 10 or
83 or
11.
84. But
Huh.
I also remember feeling so left out at the bus stop the next morning because all the other kids were talking about they watched the movie and the folks who had their hair and teeth falling out, and I'm sitting here like I didn't get to see the movie.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't
Well,
think I
but
ever
also
saw it.
like
I
we
don't
were
even
also a
remember hearing
generation where
about it.
it's like if you're going to keep this from me, you can try to keep this from me now,
Mm.
but I will see this. I will find it. I will get it, and I'll hate you for it, trying to keep me from seeing this. And I'm going to put you in a nursing home early for keeping me from seeing this.
I did see it years later, and after special effects in movies and TV had gotten so much better, and it was highly disappointing.
Yeah,
I
it
watched it.
really
It
was. Yeah, it really
was kind of
was.
like when I was a kid, the scariest movie, and I only got to see bits and pieces if it was on HBO at a friend's house. The scariest movie was Poltergeist. Um, I watched it with I think, I think my oldest was 11 or 12 when it came on TV again, and she laughed her way through the entire movie.
I've never even seen it. Yeah, I'm
The
not
oh my,
surprised. Yeah,
don't the concept is scarier than when you actually watch it with the special effects because the special effects, yeah, I started giggling at it, and my 11 or 12-year old at the time started laughing, and I'm like, this was supposed to be the scariest movie ever when I was a kid.
yeah. The day after wasn't that scary. I think is more like the. I think what's
Traumatizing.
really scared people was the concept of like Nagasaki happening. Like
Right.
Yeah.
in my
Were
in
your
my
parents ever into like the Alfred Hitchcock and the Twilight Zone stuff? I remember being so scared. My mom used to watch the Alfred Hitchcock present stuff and just like there
I
was
liked
never a
those
bedtime,
and
but I just
the new
some of
Twilight
that
Zone in
shit
the
was so
80s.
creepy.
I love the Twilight Zone. There's one in particular that was just my favorite of all time. I think it was called Dark Origins. It was like the master alien race shows up.
I remember that
It's
name.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's played by the guy who he doesn't the main alien in it. You wouldn't recognize him from some of the movies he's in. I can't remember his name, but he normally looks goofy in some of his stuff. But the master alien race shows up, and they're disappointed because humanity has a small talent for war, and so they're gonna just start over there and wipe out all life on the planet. And all the United Nations is like, give us one day to fix everything. And so the alien is like, well, I don't know what you can do in a day, but sure, we'll give you a day. And the next day, the alien shows back up, and humanity's like, all right, we've done it. We have secured world peace. And the alien ambassador starts laughing at him, like, secure world peace. You have a small talent for war. We're looking for a bigger talent for war. You guys suck at war. And so
This is Russ's origin story.
it was hysterical.
It was a weird time where in the 80s where parents were both extremely trying to be really overprotective about your kids seeing nuclear war or scary things that would traumatize them, but they were also leaving us alone for long periods of time. And we were just out there
Yeah.
starting forest fires and,
Oh, my friends and I burned down the field
shooting
behind
each
our
other with
house.
BB guns
Us
and
too. We did a field too.
like
We definitely
breaking
did a field.
like going into our friends homes while their parents were at work and finding their playboy stashes, stuff like that.
Oh,
Like they
I had
were
a friend up
very
the
worried
street.
about
you had a friend at the street. It was about all
Yeah.
about knowing where his dad's penthouse stash was.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a time in my youth where we literally found a box of pornography in a dumpster.
We
And
found this.
it was like,
accessible, like in weird places.
for about, I mean, I probably, in my mind, I think it went on for weeks, but it was probably like 12 hours where it was currency. It was
Oh
currency.
yeah, big time.
And then
We
I got
found like
grounded for like a week. And I literally was like, I was literally in my room for a week. Like
well
just,
we found this old you know, it was like the manual of sex, and we kept it
Oh,
in the woods that were like away from the house.
that's why I
the
had to build a
woods.
fort. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, kept it
totally.
buried underneath this thing of sticks so that nobody could find it but us.
Some bushes at the park.
The
Yeah,
movie, yeah,
totally.
the quaint movies about the 80s about kids building forts in the 80s was about them about building forts, but no, it was we were like literally we were building
Hiding
structures to
stuff.
hide contraband.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
like that. We weren't digging holes to just to dig, we were digging holes because we had this innate sense
Yes.
that we need a place to hide things.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
We
Yeah, remember
smoked a
right?
lot of stuff too. We like rolled stuff and smoked stuff. Like smoking was so big back then.
That
I
Like
remember
I never did that, but I will say that it was. I mean, yeah, the it was it Saturday morning about
I was
10:30
always
after car
bad.
Saturday morning after 10 about 10:30 when cartoons were over. Dad would walk in the room, turn the TV off, say, "Go outside, come back when dinner's ready," and
Yeah.
that's what you did.
I was always,
Yeah.
I think, the best way like bad adjacent, like real like just I always wanted to have one foot in. You know what I mean? So I always had like some bad friends, you know, like it's always like making sure I did some mischief, but I also like didn't want to get in trouble. You know what I
Well,
mean? I wanted to make my mom and dad, didn't want
yeah,
them to.
to be fair, I was a goody two shoes. I was always afraid of getting in trouble, so I wasn't doing anything. But my brother was doing stuff, so you know, I kind of felt it by association, but didn't have to get directly involved. And then there was
Right.
but he wasn't bad. He was only kind of mischievous. And then there was the hardcore group of 4 or 5 boys in our neighborhood. They were the bad kids, the ones that they're gonna be dead before they're 30. You don't need to be hanging out
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah. I lived with my grandma, so my problem was I had older cousins and they were into like some crate, like they would steal, they would start
Yeah,
fires, they were smoking, they were doing all kinds of stuff.
that's
So
the
I
real
was kind of like
determinator.
dragged with them.
That's the real predictor, isn't it? Like how
Yeah.
a kid, it doesn't matter like how much your parents work, if your dad was a cool or a dick or yelled at you or whatever. It was really like what what were the ages and proclivities of the kids in your neighborhood or your
Yeah.
Yep.
family? You know, it's like because if they were into Kiss, if they were into Kiss dolls and stuff,
Oh my
that was like
gosh.
that was you're gonna get a heavy diet of Kiss dolls
They locked me in
and
the
that
closet
shit.
and played
Like
The Devil's Daughter. I'll never forget it. I was scared of the dark. I mean, I still don't enjoy the dark. I'm telling you right now.
that
Those,
really
they
was
were
a
horrible
big.
to me. They hated me.
Getting one of the best gifts my wife ever bought me was a set of black curtains for our bedroom so that I can make it even darker in there when I'm asleep.
Yeah. I have lights all around my house. Like it's lit up here. Night lights. It's like a little path, like on an airplane.
All right, so let's get. Well, maybe we can touch a couple topics.
Real
Mhm.
quick. I got a note from Coop. I don't know if he's going to join or not, but he fell asleep.
Oh,
Well, tell them to
I'll
get
take it. We'll
up.
take a groggy coop.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so one of the topics that we were talking about this week, and I would like to get your take on this, is the World's Fair.
The World's Fair? I haven't
World's
heard about a
Fair,
World's Fair since like 1990.
right? Why not? I was curious because I do you think like just off the top of your head, would you guess that the World's Fair is still happening now or not?
I don't think so. I haven't heard. The last World's Fair I heard about was the one in Knoxville with the big orange ball.
It's still happening every 5 years, the way it always has since like like the mid 1800s or whatever. It's still happening every 5 years. We just don't like we just have zero involvement in it. I'm not even saying right or wrong, but that was my take from getting into the World's Fair for a couple days because I was like, it's over, right? They don't do this anymore.
I would never. I would have thought that it was done. I hadn't heard about the World's Fair.
They do, yeah. It's like, and I'm not
In
even
like
saying that.
1986 was the last one I heard about.
Yeah, I think the last one, oh, I said it earlier. I think before you joined, the last World's Fair that America, no, 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 no.
Coop says give him 5 and he'll be here.
I think what we hosted a World's Fair, I think in 1984 in New Orleans. I hope I'm getting
Hey,
that
the
right.
last one I remember was the one in Knoxville.
That might have been like the last great, that might have been the last try because I think New Orleans was 1984 during the Olympics and nobody showed up. Like if it
Maybe
happened
the Olympics that year
today,
were in Los Angeles.
there wasn't a lot of media back then, so there was like two videos of an empty World's Fair in New Orleans, but
Well, the media was all consolidated, and so were the TV shows. That's the reason everyone likes to put these lists on TV. I mean, online about the most watched TV shows of all time. Like MASH got 100 million for its final, but yeah, it got that because there were only like 3 TV
oh,
stations.
sure,
So,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
media, if they're not really showing the World's Fair, then everyone's going to assume that especially back then, that it was a
Yeah.
bust.
Yeah, well, my point was there's not a lot of footage of it, but the World's Fair in New Orleans in 1984, I think it was. I think it was the same year we had the Olympics, was like the Fire Festival. Like
Fire
there
It's
was
an
Festival.
absolute
there
bust.
was millions and millions of dollars spent and nobody showed up at this World's Fair at all. Like nobody. Like it was
Yeah,
like if it happened today, like everybody be on Twitter and social media, like taking videos,
Right.
their cell phone,
Wanting
being
their money back.
like this is insane. There's no one here, but it happened in
yeah.
1984 where there was only three TV stations that had cameras.
Yeah, I just
Right.
Googled it. The first 3 articles that came up said something like, what if New Orleans had a World's Fair and no one came?"
But is that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The first 3 articles I pulled up were all about how nobody showed up to that World's Fair. And it
Yeah, it
was
was
open for
bad.
like 3 months.
If that happened today, the news about it would only last a week, but it would be the biggest story about how much of a because people love fail
Is that why
stories.
we pulled out as a nation, do you think? We just sucked at it so badly?
Well, I think we pulled out of the World's Fair in about 2000 because in American politics, sometimes we get real crazy about budget stuff, and we start, and people get like we find
What?
out that we're spending like $1 trillion on waste. So then we get real crazy and we're just like cut everything. And I think there was like a $200 million budget for the World's Fair, but they were like, let's cut it,
Well,
and
cut
they cut
everything
it.
except the stuff that would actually make a dent.
Yeah,
Right.
they cut. It was like a drop in the bucket, but because the added, that's just kind of how we are humans. We throw the baby out with the bathwater. So everybody was like at a cut spending, and it was like, well, we don't really need to go to the World's Fair, do we? Nah, fuck it.
Yeah.
We are the world. Well, and also our attitude was like, we are the world.
We are the world.
We
Yeah,
made the song. Was
we
it the
made a
same
song
year we
about
made
it.
the
We literally
song?
made a song about it to let everybody know that we were it.
Oh my
Or maybe
gosh.
maybe it was about somebody who was star. I don't. Nah, no. I'm pretty sure We Are the World was all about us letting everybody know that we are the world. Like we're it.
In theory, it was about helping starving people in Africa, but
That's
mostly
not
about
how I
patting
took it.
ourselves on the
That's
back
not
about how
how.
wonderful we are.
That's not how I
Well,
took
now
it.
that we're learning all that new information about Clive Davis today, it's hard to say what
Oh
everything was
no.
about,
Oh
right?
no, man. We're just like it used to take us like 250 years to tear down our heroes like George Washington or Thomas Jefferson. Now it's like, nah, we'll do it while you're alive.
Can you guys hear that rain? It's so loud.
I think that's what Zoom does. Zoom cuts everything out.
It is coming down hard
So
here.
World's Fair,
It's raining in Sacramento right now. That's like, a biblical event.
I know.
I'm glad that I mean it kind of like I don't like people not knowing things, but I'm glad. Like I was the same way before I looked into it. I was like, the World's Fair is over, right? Like, no, the rest of the world, everybody in the world except for the United States goes
My
to the World
fascination
Fair.
is the old ones where they were so like crazy built out and then they just tore them down. Like that was my like that I think about that. Like why? Like
Yeah.
does
So
it make
one,
it make sense? Like they were so there was so much technology and there was things going like why would they tear that down?
And well, it
I
was
go
all
to
about
trade
showcasing the
shows.
future. I mean, television, the first place you saw television was at the World's Fair in like 1929 or something like that.
Yeah, I do. I go to trade shows today, like not today. I'm sitting here, but it's like I go to trade shows and that's it. That's what like the World's Fair was a gigantic world trade show.
Yeah.
Now there are thousands of like niche trade shows, but they all do the same thing. They build up like within these trade shows or within these convention centers, companies will come in and build up a booth. We call it a booth, but it's not. It's like a 50-foot by 50-foot structure within a convention center
Right.
that'll look like a castle.
Hmm.
It will literally look like a castle because their marketing theme this year is that our software will make you king of the castle. So they'll spend like insane amounts of money because it's very
Is that the
profitable. Like,
software you're selling? You're selling King of the
I was
Castle
just I
software.
was
no,
just thinking
no,
he
I'm just
sounds like
making,
he's
no, I'm just making up.
pitching
Well,
us
this is more
something.
like my competitors are these assholes like
Okay.
that build massive structures because, and like, so they
Gotcha.
will spend an insane amount of money on these massive structures that just get torn down and thrown away. Like literally just go right in the recycling bin.
But
But
insane amount of money is comparative. I mean, it may be an insane amount of money
But
to
it's a different
us. As
scale.
company, is it an insane amount of money?
But oh yeah, you're right. You're right. But to us, it would be an incredible amount of money, similar to like why would they build a gigantic building in Chicago in 2 years and then blow it up the year net later? Because it was made out of like paper and
Fiberglass.
straw and like it was made out of paper and straw by in 2x4s and it was also a major
was
fire
it?
hazard. Yeah,
Was
it
it?
was. It was, yeah.
Okay.
No, it really was. It really was. And so my
Well, then
bias
I
here,
guess it just makes sense.
I'll give you this. I wasn't there. I was not alive in 1893, and I wasn't
And that's
there.
the other thing, like the resources and the ability to build stuff like that wasn't the same as it is now when you're in some convention center and it's air conditioned and you can have all the parts shipped in and you
They
just
didn't,
construct it
well,
there.
back then, I can tell you they like when I like another part of going to conventions now is that you go to a convention and the convention is run by Teamsters. And every mofo in there that is either picking up trash or vacuuming the carpet or laying down carpet is making a lot of money. Back then in 1893, I mean, it wasn't slave labor, but it was pretty close to slave labor. Like if you had the money to like buy the resources to build this building, like you had like hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of poor ass people that would be like, I will build your building for $1 a day
But
or
they
30
also did a
cents a
lot.
day. Like if you just feed me, I will work 12
Well,
hours a
this,
day. It was a different time. Like it
Well,
was a different time.
yeah,
they're also a lot less regulations and stuff. One of the things I just looked up, they built the Empire State Building in 1 year and 45 days. It took us what,
nice
10 years to build the Freedom Tower in New York?
Yeah.
regulations. Yeah.
But we got more technology and stuff now. It should be easier, but it took less than 14 months to
Yeah.
build the
So
Empire
if
State Building.
if you're a contractor and someone comes to you and says, I need to build this building, and you say, okay, well, how long would you like it to last? If you say, I would like it to last for 6 months, they will tell you $100,000. If you say it just a number, right? If you say I need it to last 20 years and I need it to be up to code and I need to sell and my plan is to sell and lease this space for 20 years and like rent all this space out to people and not having them die,
Yeah.
then they would tell you, oh, well, I need $1 billion. Like
And
if you want a
12 years to do it.
structure, yeah, if you want a structure that'll last 6 months, cheap. And that's the nature of trade shows today. So maybe I'm wrong, but I think that was kind of the same thing back then. Like it was
Well, I
like
just
there
think the
was
next World Fair, we need to go to it. We need to figure out, we need to get somebody there. Maybe,
Where is
don't
it?
we have somebody?
uh I think it's in Tokyo in 2025.
Maybe we can get Marty to go.
Yeah, I'm not going to Japan to see the World's
Yeah.
Fair. I'm not doing that.
Another
We can get
interesting thing
Marty to
about
go.
it,
Maybe we can get Marty to go for us.
that's
Marty
true.
Hobbs.
I could be wrong too, but it's in a major city. They're not doing it in the one interesting thing about the Industrial Revolution and the World's Fair is that they were doing the World's Fair in these really all over the world. right? They did it in Chicago in 1893, but then the next one was in like Hanoi, and then the next one was in Guatemala City in Guatemala. But and they all were very well attended. Like people would go to Guatemala City or like
Interesting.
the world would go to Guatemala City.
Yeah. I just
What?
I just saw April to October 2025 Tokyo is the next World's Fair.
Yeah, and
Right.
it's very watered down now, I'm sure, because there are so many niche and like specific industry specific
But
convention
it's
trade
still
conventions.
on for like 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, it lasts a long time. And
Right.
that another
We're gonna ask Marty
that's
to
another
go.
reason why when the people do the math, it's like we're gonna have people coming in through we're gonna have people coming through this attraction for 6 months, buying, $8 corn dogs and, $12,
Are they
Budweisers.
really
Like,
selling corn dogs in
I,
Japan?
well, I don't know, maybe
I mean, they
very
should. They really
American,
should. I had corn dogs for dinner last night. I'm telling you that right now.
but you know what I mean?
Delicious.
It's like it's kind of worth it to spend that much money building this thing up because it's like 6 months. If you can get the traffic, it's 6 months of people coming in and like just
Yeah.
spending a lot of money.
Yeah, Quana, just
Wow.
real quick, one of my on that tangent, one of my favorite meals from Sonic's, I just buy like 3 corn dogs and a small chili cheese tots. And
Oh,
I'll do that, or I come up with the weirdest, most unhealthy meals, like Cheetos covered with hot sauce and shredded cheese. Coop is
yeah.
always asking me how I'm still alive.
Sometimes you have to do it. We had tater tots and corn dogs last night. I mean, I know that I do yoga and I eat healthy most of the time, and I love to cook from scratch and I make my own bread and stuff. But last night we
Yeah.
had corn dogs and tater tots because they're delicious.
I saw a video this
So,
I saw a video this week of a French toast, hash brown, egg and cheese sandwich.
Nice.
This MFer I got a flat top griddle. He took two hash browns, like just like the ones you buy in like
Yeah.
frozen ones, or whatever, and he
yeah,
like put
yeah.
them in a French toast batter and he fried them up.
Okay.
And then he fried an
Nice.
Okay.
egg, put cheese on
Respectable.
that, and he made a sandwich out of these two. That was the bread or hash browns, French toast hash
Oh, that's
browns.
awesome.
I make hash browns every day. I love them. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
they're
want to
good for
make
me
I
or
want to
not,
make
but I eat them
this.
every single day.
I'm not
But
I don't have patience enough to make them every day.
they're delicious. Yeah.
My wife will make
They're
them
good.
usually on the weekends.
I'll
But
tell you, but part of the hash brown experience is the texture.
yeah,
Crispy.
Just it's like
just get moist.
just as important as the flavor.
Yeah.
I would say maybe even more important.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I love them. I've mastered it. They're delicious every single day. I eat them every day instead of toast.
I was thinking of a way to segue from World's Fair to
Tater tots.
the Rothschild, the guy that Rothschild that died.
Oh,
But I was thinking like back in
I saw that
that
on your
back.
list. I honestly, I'm not familiar enough with this story. I mean,
Okay,
I
okay.
know
I
about
was
the
curious
Rothschilds
if
and the
you.
conspiracies and stuff, but I haven't followed whoever it was
Okay,
that died recently.
what's your take on? I think the bigger subject I think is what's your take on the Federal Reserve?
Um,
If you really have, there's some people
I'm
out there that
not.
are like,
There are a lot of folks out there that are
yeah,
emotional about the Federal Reserve. I'm not. I don't think it's necessarily the best entity to have in the government. Um, but it doesn't blow my skirt up the way that it does on a lot of people. It just doesn't.
I think
Um,
it's very bad, but I can also understand why it happened. Like there's a lot of
well, yeah, and
things in nature are very bad. Like that.
that's kind of where I am. I mean, I don't think it's the best thing, but I understand kind of how and why it came about. But it's it doesn't interest me enough. It probably should. I know people are going to yell at me and tell me about how folks are in charge and all this other stuff. I mean, a lot of Ron Paul fans from back around like 2000 uh 2004, 2008, a lot of Ron Paul fans like to yell at me about the Fed. I don't care enough.
People are just yelling at you. Just online getting yelled at.
No, I mean in person yelled at me.
Yeah.
That's even
That
better.
Ron Paul fans were like nuts. They're insane.
That's even better.
I remember that
Even better.
One Love or whatever, because he's from Texas. So there was like the when he was running for president, there were a lot of signs and stuff around North Texas about Ron Paul, One Love. So there was something, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I was at a football tailgate in 2004, or was it 2003? 2003. I got back from Iraq and I went back to North Carolina. I got to go to a Panthers football game, and I was in a football tailgate, and somebody tried to spend 20 minutes telling me about how Ron Paul was going to be president, and I'm trying to just enjoy my hot dogs and my burgers and stuff, and he's really rah-rahing up Ron Paul. I'm like, dude, it's great, but I don't know if you realize that your one exceptionally enthusiastic vote does not cancel out 10 other votes for other people
Yeah,
who are not Ron Paul.
it's very so libertarianism is to me is an issue I grapple with because it's very like you know what we probably the world probably would be the country probably would be a more just country if Ron Paul was president, but it's just never going to happen.
Yeah.
And I kind
Well,
of understand why it would never happen. There's too many things just rolling along and growing and snowballing to let a Ron Paul presidency ever happen. Sorry, it's
I,
just
I have a lot of libertarian
I
type
like it in theory, but it's just
I have a lot of libertarian type tendencies, but most of libertarianism is either pie in the sky idealism stuff or it's uh, anarchism, chaos theory. I mean, if you've ever seen like the Libertarian
it's
Party
just so
debates,
theoretical. Yeah, it's really
yeah, if you ever seen the Libertarian Party debates, you'd like to hear something about how maybe they would handle, you know, the foreign policy, how would they apply their principles to that. Instead, you end up with, four people on stage arguing about seatbelt laws.
yeah. If I want to drive without my seatbelt, yeah,
I'm not sure
yeah.
that's the mark of a serious party or a
Yeah,
serious
if the
candidate.
Libertarian
Right.
Party could just like put just turn the dial down on their
Less crazy.
principles,
Yeah.
just turn the dial on and let a little reality in and like, hey, if we would like to get like we can have these libertarian goals that we will never achieve a single one of them,
Yep.
or we can lighten up a little bit and maybe we can achieve a few of them, like
That most are absolutists, and that's why they don't get anything done because they
it's
don't
really
understand the
dumb.
nature of how you get things done. Which outside of a major catastrophic event, it's going to be incremental, just because most folks are not going to always be on your side.
I think
And
it's somewhat of a
liber
loser mentality too, because it's like I'm gonna keep my political belief system in such a theoretical place that I can never really be held responsible for doing
well,
anything. It's like just
and yeah,
such
so
a
I can justify griping about the system instead of changing it.
Mhm. Speaking of griping,
Oh,
We about to have another griper on board.
the
that's
dog.
right.
It looks like it.
Let's see if I can
Griper in
get
chief has arrived.
The background.
He, he's
Coop.
he's he's meditating on the mountaintop.
Nice.
Ricola.
Coop, what would
I
you
get.
do? What would you do
I
to a
took this.
communist if there was no one else around? To
What would I do? What would I do to a communist if there's no one else around?
yeah,
How big of a pine cone do I have in
you
my
have two
pocket?
hours. You have 2 hours to.
Hope you've
Ah,
missed our intellectually stimulating conversations about corn dogs and Ron Paul.
Ron Paul and corn dogs. That's consistent.
Guess which one I started.
I don't know how yet, but it is sure it makes a lot of sense.
That's consistent. Yes, all in the Paul family there.
I think Rand is a little bit more in
I
like
was
in
going to
touch with
ask, I didn't want to
reality.
sound dumb. Is Rand and Ron the same person, or is that
No,
two different
Rand is
people?
Ron's son.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sure.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. No, I'm not a hater. Being a self-described libertarian, I have to appreciate the viewpoint if nothing else. But like anything else, it can get out of hand.
Yeah,
We were just saying, like, yeah, go ahead.
Chris tried to get sparkling conversation going about the death of one of the Rothschilds recently and what we thought of the Fed, and I don't know enough about the guy, the Rothschild who died, and a lot of people get emotional about the Fed, but I ain't one of them, so it didn't really go anywhere.
What about Fannie Willis? What do we think about Fannie Willis? Anybody got
Hey,
any?
Oh,
Christopher.
I love. I love. I mean, I love that. I love this story. I don't know why, but I've been paying a lot of attention to the downfall of this hoe.
well, what it shows is that everybody in power sucks.
Yeah, I mean, just oh my goodness. I mean, you take. I mean, I'm not even, and I, you don't have to take it out. I'm not this. I'm not looking at this as a race thing. I was looking at it as a political thing, but I'm not even looking at that. It's a human thing where, man, the arrogance of these people,
Oh,
the
yeah.
arrogance of these people that are in charge, and they are.
Well, people
I
who
mean, that's it. It's just all caps arrogance. Like,
I saw a
wow.
YouTube clip of Fannie Willis from one of her first campaign commercials when she was running for attorney general, talking about how, it's incumbent on the attorney general not to be having sex with with the
Hmm.
subordinates, and they were
Hmm.
playing that over top of what she's been doing with stooping this dude, and I mean it's blowing up the. If I was a Democrat right now, I would be so pissed at her because she just blew up their entire case in Georgia.
They're defending her.
I was gonna
Well, they have to.
say,
It's tribal. It's
It's
tribal.
amazing. It's amazing. They're
yeah.
just like, who this woman chooses to sleep
Yeah.
with is none of your goddamn business.
Yeah, they're saying that in public. Behind closed doors, they're all like,
Well,
"I
Fanny, you
cannot
made it my
believe
This
this."
business.
bitch.
You made it my
This
business.
bitch.
Now I
It's
gotta
so
hear. Now
good.
I gotta. Now I gotta hear. Now I gotta read your text messages, lady.
Well, I
Oh, I
mean,
love
maybe
it.
she should go into government. She and Kamala could get along real well.
I mean, damn.
Hey,
I mean, that's the
they're
Kamala.
making light-skinned brown girls look bad.
I mean, I really think that Kamala set the example, and like you have all these, minority women. They're just like, oh fuck, oh goddamn. If I fight hard for Joe Biden, I'm good. Oh, not this one. You got like there are several attorneys in Georgia that decided they were gonna take Joe Biden, they were gonna champion Joe Biden. There were some attorneys in Fulton County, Georgia, that were just like, I love this white man so much, I'm gonna champion him. I'm gonna take down this other white man, Donald Trump. And all those
George
people are about to
Soros.
lose their careers. Fannie, Nathan Wade, her lead investigator, and
Her lead stripping partner. Yeah.
Her boo.
We're
They were,
booing.
I mean, it came out yesterday. They've been banging since 2019. They were
Oh
banging
yeah.
for years
He's
before.
got his own cruise director. He's so fancy. That's
Oh,
fancy.
I mean, as a man, I kind of feel bad for this guy because this has really fucked up his game. You know what I mean? Like dude was on a roll. Dude had a cruise. Like Fanny was like a 2 or 3 year thing for him. Like, if you want to tell me that he didn't have something else going on,
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that one of her, I don't remember the exact, how the exact testimony went, but one of her friends from several years back had apparently thrown her under the bus. And it was funny to listen to her on the stand talk about, yeah, she's not my friend anymore, but I know what she was saying. And she was incompetent and a bitch and all this other
here's how
stuff.
that went. The attorney was like, "Is it true that?"
Paraphrasing.
Yeah, is it true
See,
that?
Christopher knows the exact
Yeah.
testimony. Here we go.
It was so amazing. It was like an SNL skit. It
Yeah.
was like she was like, "Is it true that this lady's a lifelong friend?" And Fanny was like, "She's not a lifelong friend by any means. Not a lifelong friend." Thinking that she was like scoring a point, and then the attorney was like, "Was she your friend in 2000? Yes. Was she your friend in 2001? Yes. Was she your friend in 2002?" And she just like did every year, every year. And then she was like, "Was she your friend in 2021? Yes. Was she your friend in 2022? No." Oh,
Yeah.
what? But she was like, she was on there on stand like, well, you said that she was a lifelong friend. And technically, she's not a lifelong friend because I'm not friends with her
Definitely we
anymore.
broke up.
Yeah, we broke up 6 months ago. And it's
Yeah,
like,
would
oh
say
my
that.
God.
Friend
woman.
falling out.
Yeah, I
Are you
recently broke
really?
up with the BFF, and I'll tell you right now, dead to me.
Yeah, but it's like, but if someone asked you in a court of law, like, is this a like? I guess you
Nope.
probably would. You'd
It's
probably be like, no.
over. That shit's over.
They would have to go through the same thing. They'd be like, Guana, was she your friend in 2000?
Fine.
Was she your friend
I've been
throughout?
knowing her,
Yeah.
but still.
Was she your friend all throughout middle school? Yes. Was she your friend all throughout high school? Yeah. Was she your, did you room with her in college? Yes. Like
Has she ever
that
been
was
on
what
an
happened.
Endless Ranters happy hour?
It was
Yes.
amazing. These arrogant people were telling such crazy lies
Yeah.
that a few other attorneys that just had a couple brain cells were just like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, well,
And they just
They
roasted
feel
them.
untouchable.
They
They're
destroyed them.
untouchable.
well, it's
They
like
feel
Ben
untouchable.
Shapiro said, never admit to the criming on tape.
I mean, they at the same time, they have no choice but to stick
Hindsight.
with the lies. Like at this point, they gotta go to the grave with the lie.
I never had sex with that woman.
Yeah, he's
Well,
got
they'll
it.
take
Like just like
more
Bill
heat.
Clinton. Yeah, he set the example,
Yeah.
didn't he? He's like,
They'll
go to
take more
grave.
heat
Really
if they end up
did.
dropping the case. But it's going to end up, this whole case in Georgia, at least, is over because of this kind of stuff, in
It's
my
over.
opinion.
It's over. Yeah, they went after Donald Trump and wrecked themselves. They tried to help Joe Biden. They
Well,
went after Donald Trump and they ended their careers.
well, and Trump is a mud monster. I mean, whatever you throw at him, he just absorbs it and grows bigger.
Yeah, it's like this dude's been kind of a fiend for decades and is still going strong. Are you sure you want to come at him like that? Are you are you like really clean?
He's
Is
the
your
king of
record?
fuck around and
Nobody
find
is.
out.
Yeah, it's like, are you really that clean where you think you want to go after this guy? All right. All
Roll the
right.
dice.
I don't know anybody in power now that's going to have. It's like Quana said when you talk about the arrogance. If you're going to go after somebody in this kind of manner, in this kind of polarized environment, you better be as clean as the Pope sheets.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they will find something on you.
Yeah. It's gall and audacity that lady had. Like, seriously. Unbelievable. Just
Yeah, she did. She did something her first day when she was on the stand where she told the female attorney that was questioning her that everything she was saying was a lie.
With her dress on backwards, Christopher.
But technically, when you're in that position and you say to the attorney, everything you say is a lie, well, that opens up a door. And now the attorney can say like, oh, well, you've impugned me. Now let me tell you why everything I'm not saying is a lie. Because before you accused me of that, I couldn't put these text messages into the court record.
Yeah.
But now that you've accused me of lying about everything, now I can show the judge all these text messages I have.
We are not being led by the best and brightest.
You know, the thing that strikes me through all this, and I looked at the whole Donald Trump thing inside and out, and Russ and I are unabashedly not huge fans of Donald Trump, at least for the primary. But
yeah, sure.
I admire the motherfucker. There's relatively little grit that they've been able. I mean, most of this stuff is cast in freaking oatmeal, not concrete.
Yeah, it's all show. Yeah,
it's all show. There's relatively little that guy's actually got in his closet. For as prominent and as powerful as a human being he is, I gotta admire the guy. Really, I mean, you would think. I mean, the Clintons, have 52 dead bodies burning behind them.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a lot to be said there, but there's relatively little that you can actually pin on Donald Trump. And I'm not a fan of him personally as a human being and all that kind of thing. And is he a misogynist? Probably. Is he is there a cult of personality there? Of course. I mean, he's a celebrity first, but there's relatively little. Have
you guys
there.
Yeah, people think
you
that
watched any of the coverage from House and Habit about him? Like, it's kind of like behind the scenes. Like, she's literally at Mar-a-Lago, and like, it's really interesting to see the behind the scenes coverage of what he's. There's an account on Instagram called House and Habit, and she's like covering behind the scenes of Kennedy and Trump.
It's a weird name.
Biden, but
it's a weird name, but this account made a name for itself. I think during the Johnny Depp trial.
Yeah.
House and Habit.
Okay. I remember Jane. Remember when Jane and I were doing
it was like a reputable, like made a name for herself as like someone you could kind of trust as a regular person telling you what was going on.
She's
Yeah,
shown
yeah,
it, like she's
that's right.
taking pictures though, like you're seeing it with your own eyes. She's like the correspondence dinner that he did with the recently, it was like all black, and like the news kind of painted it in one picture, and she's like behind the scenes, like showing how it was nothing like the news painted it. And he's not orange, or his hair, he's not orange. Like his hair is really beautifully blonde, and his tan is kind of glorious, like on a regular camera. The news puts a filter on him. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Go look
Yeah, well,
at the
I don't
footage.
know if you
They
saw the
do. Yeah,
filter
they
that
do. They really do.
the news
They
put a filter
do.
on Joe Rogan a couple years ago when Rogan got COVID, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
they
They
made
look
him
real
look
sickly.
pale and sweaty, and then
Yeah.
Rogan broadcast the actual video on his
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
And they got busted doing it,
Yep.
and they just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Well, because most people are saps and won't look beyond it.
We've gone off the
Yeah.
deep end. Yeah.
Poor Don.
We get
There's a when I
Waving.
when I took a film class. By the way, this photo here, just to let you know,
Love
it's
it.
about it's half an hour from where I grew up, from my hometown here. It's one of my photos there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful
Very
up there.
beautiful.
When I took a film class, one of the things they do, the modern look, if you watched, did you watch the what the hell is it? Ryan Gosling, the newest Blade Runner, the Blade
Blade
Runner
Runner
series.
Yeah, I
2049.
watched that. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
if
did
you look
not.
at they do it turquoise and orange. You take the colors and take them to turquoise and orange because it gives it a very modern kind of look to it. That's one of the things I learned in my film class, and it's very, very easy to do. You can do it in 2 seconds. I mean, if I maybe I'll do that. I'll make us look like Blade Runner next time on YouTube, that we do a YouTube video.
Yeah.
But
But like
actually,
Coop keeps getting on
you
me
be
because I
Ryan
actually never
Gosling, I'll
watched
be
Blade
Harrison
Runner.
Ford. You be Ryan Gosling, I'll be Harrison Ford. How's that work for you?
Yeah, except remember, Coop,
Hey,
I've never actually
kid.
watched Blade
Hey,
Runner.
kid, go fuck yourself, kid.
Um,
Oh my
but
God.
but that's one of the techniques they use, and very, very easy technique that they can use on Donald Trump. I think you're 100% right, Quana.
Yeah.
They absolutely it takes 2 seconds to
No one
fix it.
ever says that, Coop. Thank you. That's just 100% right, Quana.
No one ever
That's all
gives
have
you
to
like.
say.
No
I've
one ever
never
was like,
heard that in my
you
life.
were
No one's
100% right,
ever
Quan.
said that to me, ever.
There's always a just.
Hey, this is
Woo!
recorded. Make
Let me
sure
mark
you get
this
that.
day.
Make that your ringtone.
What day is this?
Oh, there's
I
always a
just- I just-
qualifier.
Are we in a leap
just woke
year?
up.
What's going on?
I just woke up after a 3-hour nap getting back from the beach,
Okay.
so
Good.
And I was like,
take
I was
it.
waiting for the but. Like, I agree with you 100%. But
I know.
No, I'm
Me
just
too.
there's a
gonna
few
leave it out there.
percentages
too.
that are not so. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it out there. It's my gift.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been a hard week. I appreciate it.
Speaking, hey, I gotta tell you guys real funny. I just got a whim and wanted to take Huckleberry, my beloved coonhound. Beloved, yeah, fuck you, dude. To the beach yesterday, and I got a good deal on a little cabin right on the coast of Washington State. And it's not the beach in California. Let me just put it to you that way. We got there, and there was well, it's beautiful, but it's
Old.
there was, oh my God, it was 30, 34, 36 degrees when we got to the beach, and I got out, and he had his coat on. He wears clothes because he's old and he likes it. And we get out, and it's about 2 hours from where I'm at right now to get to the beach. About 2 hours, and it's a beautiful drive, so no problem. I like to drive, but we get there, and I open up the door. He gets out. He like looks around, and he's very old, so he moves very slowly now. He's a retired coonhound. He walks about 5 feet out, kind of looks out at the surf, and there's like 30-foot breakers out there because it's just stormy, and there's sleet and all this other stuff. Then he looks up at me, and he kind of shivers, and he gets right back into the car. That was our trip to the beach. You motherfucker. And then the cabin that I got had wood floors, are faux wood floors, not even wood floors. He hates that. He feels like he's
Nice.
gonna slip. So he's like,
Oh, you had a horrible trip.
I
Went
do
over,
feel like
got on the couch,
we all like
never left the
grow up.
couch. Never left the couch. That was our entire day.
We
I'm
all
like,
grow
"Ah."
up with this. We grow up with this idea that our dogs are just outdoorsmen. And it's like, and they are most part, but they're just like, I like a comfy bed, just like you.
Once they're spoiled, once they're spoiled with the indoors, they're not going to be outdoorsmen again.
Yeah, it's like, do you like standing in the rain? Like,
Yeah.
do you?
Mine
this is
does. I've had to walk twice in the rain today.
oh no.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm kind of tired. I really, yeah. Like,
Are you in California, Quana?
Yeah, I'm in Sacramento.
That's what
That's
I
why
thought.
my hair's curly today because it's
That's what I thought.
it's raining. We had to hit the streets
Our
twice.
old Russ and I lived in Sacramento for a number of years. Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, I got a
Yeah.
dog. We got a new
Times.
dog at Christmas that if we leave it outside, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna dig a hole.
Oh,
Well,
diggers.
I got a new dog. Well, not a new dog. When my wife's mom passed, we ended up getting one of her dogs. And Skylar was an outdoor dog most of her life, about 5 years. And now that she's an indoor dog, in order to get her to go out to go to the bathroom, I have to go out with her because she's scared that we're going to leave her out there.
Oh.
I go out there with her and she goes out and then she goes to the bathroom. But if we just earlier today, my wife just let her out and closed the door because the other dog, Josie, did not want to go out. So she let her out, closed the door. 2 seconds later, Skylar is like jumping at the door, like, "Hey, don't leave me out here! Please let me back inside
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
warmth."
So
Yep.
sweet.
Yeah, I guess they're becoming like us. They're like,
It's like that first wolf that came by the fire. It's like, these humans drop a little bit of food. What
oh, I
can
love that
possibly be
meme.
the
Yeah, I
harm
love
in
that
going to the
meme.
fire?
It's like
I just had to tell my big one that you can't get on my lap.
then it's
right
like
now because it's
shivering
raining.
chihuahua. Like,
Oh, my old dog, when we were in California, we had a little rat terrier feist mix. And she would, in 80-degree weather, she'd be looking at us and start shivering because she figured that was her ticket to us feeling sorry for her.
Yeah, good shit. Rat
yeah,
terriers are smart.
yeah, they're master manipulators.
Yeah,
These
I have
dogs.
my guy is a treeing walker coonhound. They were bred to go after cougar and bear. He is actually where I grew up, where my mom and dad, the old property when I was living there and taking care of my mom. He would disappear for 2-3 days at a time, go out in the national forest and you wouldn't hear from him, and he'd come back all like bloody and fucking tired and skinny and stuff like that. Yeah, 2 seconds, looked at the ocean, looked at me in his little in his Patagonia jacket that my ex
Coat.
that my ex got him, and he just gets back into the car. I'm like, oh my God. But it's no different than Russ and I, if you think about it. I mean, Russ being 101st Airborne Ranger and all that, me being a Cav, scout and all that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't want to sleep in a hole in the dirt anymore.
No, I don't do that anymore. My kids are always begging me to go camping, and I'm like, nope, I've done that
That's
enough.
what Russ.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah,
meant to tell you.
not camping. Yeah.
I took my kids camping a couple weekends ago, and it was like got them to 28 one night. They all, well, 2 out of my 3 kids came with me, and they woke up at like 3 in the morning, like, what is going on? What is happening?
Well, everybody tries to tell me that the outdoors are so great, and I'm like, well, if the outdoors are great, why has mankind spent all of its history trying to put walls and a roof
Yeah,
around
I was just like, it's just cold. You're not going to die.
Not for me.
Quit complaining. Quit complaining.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, look at like Göbekli Tepe and some of these ancient sites where they've spent a lot of time putting a roof and walls around them. A lot, even our ancient ancestors. They're like, this fucking sucks. Like on the ground,
humans are fragile. Like if you've ever been outside in the elements, like you are very fast aware that like we're fragile. We're fragile.
It's kind of wild that like humans not only like invent guns and like do wars and missiles, but also like that also we're also susceptible to hay fever.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and like
I know.
Pollen will just wreck your world. You know what I mean? Like the trees are attacking us. Like the trees and the grass are like
the Mark Wahlberg, like that.
Like
really bad
like the trees and the grass are like, you're gonna have a bad week.
Yeah, well, I always laugh. That's why I always laugh at people who are like, hey, we should get back to nature the way that our ancestors did, way back when. They died before they were 30 too.
Yeah, nature hates your guts. Like
I don't want Lyme disease. Thank you very much.
If you want to get back to nature, just understand it's
nature's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, but they woke up at like
I don't swim in the ocean.
Sleeps.
It was so
fucking
cold.
swim in the ocean because everything in the ocean will kill you, including the ocean. I don't swim in that fucking thing. God no.
I mean, if you're in the ocean and like a shark gets you, it's like
for me.
It's on you, man. It's on you. If you get eaten by a shark, that's on you.
I fear
1,000,000%.
almost nothing, but I am terrified. I can't watch videos with people like in the water with sharks. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? I'd rather get shot at because with another dude, I can handle
You can
myself.
shoot back.
I could shoot back. I
What
can
about the
handle myself.
You
kayakers
can
with like a
you
big
can at least
whale next
communicate
to
with him.
them?
Like you might be able to be like, "Hey, stop."
Oh, Quana, the first time I ever kayaked in my life, this is a true story. I was up in
Dude.
what we call the San Juan Islands up here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's up by Canada. It's between Washington State and Canada. Beautiful islands up there. And I got on the kayak and I'm a big dude, 6'3", at the time a little lighter than I am now, but 6'3", 240, and I'm in a 7-foot starter kayak, and I thought it'd be a genius to take that out on the ocean the first time that I ever went
Yeah, that's not
kayaking.
right.
Within
Never.
5
That
minutes,
doesn't even sound right.
it's fucking stupid. Within 5 minutes, one of the things that happened was a Coast Guard cutter went by, probably a mile out. But by the time the wake got into the shallows, it was a 10-foot toss, and I was up literally 10 feet in the air, riding that. But then I looked down at one point and I'm paddling, and I see this big white and black thing underneath me,
Oh
going
no,
going
no,
underneath
no,
me,
no.
and there's a little beady eye that looks up at me from about 4 feet underneath the water, and it was an orca. She
Oh,
just she
geez.
just glided right
I-
underneath me, and then her baby was following her, and she was on her side checking me out like this, and her baby was right behind her. Now it was freaking amazing. I mean, it was
Yeah.
one of the God
In
moments, right?
retrospect.
Yes, but
Right.
I was just like, and I was really into the gal that I was with at the time. We hadn't been together very long. This is our first like getaway, and I'm like, this is really cool, huh? Did you see that? And I'm like, there's a little bit of pee coming
I was
out.
gonna say, and he barely shit his pants.
Yeah,
Just a
well,
little bit of pee. I mean, this is a several ton animal that's like 20 feet long, and her
People act
calf,
like
and
it's no big deal. Like I don't understand. Like I
well,
don't.
hey, Quantum, my oldest daughter is the daredevil of our family. Before we left Hawaii, and keep in mind, my daughter was 9 at the time. Just before we left Hawaii, she decided that she needed to go cage diving with the sharks, and did that off of the northern shore. The guys
no,
are, as long as she doesn't wrap her hands around the bars, she'll be fine.
no,
Right, right.
Yeah,
No,
no
I've
fucking
seen
way.
that go wrong too.
yeah.
TikTok is, I will never go on a cruise. I don't want to
Oh,
ever
I'm going
be
on a
near
cruise
the
this
North,
summer.
no North Sea for me. There's Drake's Pass. I'm good. Kayaking, I'm good with that. Like I'm good. Like
My
I
my
feel like
oldest my oldest has gone bungee jumping, shark diving, high ropes course over the gorges in Colorado. She is my youngest is my fraidy cat. She thinks that the tilt-a-whirl is a super scary ride. We took her
Let her
snow tubing
stay
in Missouri
inside,
once.
girl.
We took her
Let her
snow
stay
tubing in Missouri
inside.
once. She was 4 or 5, and I remember we got to the bottom of the hill, and Amelia just very matter of factly says, "Well, that was terrifying. I'm never doing that again." And it was
Yeah.
cute, but it was funny because that's just not what she.
Their
She doesn't
personalities are
like to
just so
stand up on her
different.
hoverboard.
Oh, same.
Uh,
Oh, Christopher.
Coop's up there with the
Hoverboards?
murder hornets, up in the Pacific Northwest.
Like real murder hornets?
But they're supposed to be up
Murder,
there somewhere.
murder hornets. That's what I wanted to do to all those cadets at Sacramento State.
Oh,
Oh, come on!
That's where
You
my
were
son
there.
graduated from.
Oh, did he? Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I ran the ROTC program there for a couple of years. Yeah,
Oh.
it was fun. I liked it there. That was a fun place. All except for the little commies that Russ can tell you stories about.
Yeah, like the one that he picked
He
up by
was
the throat.
he was
I did
the
pick him
only
up.
year that they did the drive-through graduation. So
It
that's
wasn't
cool.
it wasn't by the throat, Russ. It was by his
Collar.
call. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
here's the story real quick. So Coop was walking through campus, and this was back during the Iraq War, and George W. Bush was president. And somebody looked at one of these hippie commies running some, Marxists for Peace booth. Said to Coop, "Hey, you know the difference between you and General Keitel? You know who General Keitel was? General Keitel was like
No.
the
I do
Nazi
not.
chief of staff.
Okay.
Okay.
You know the difference between you and General Keitel? And Coop was like, and Coop knew who he was, but he was just trying to diffuse the situation. He said, "No, I never served with the man." And the guy was like, "They executed General Keitel." And Coop was like, "Well, you know what? I respect your opinion. Have a nice day." Turned to walk away. The guy said, "You effing coward." Coop turned around in one motion, grabbed him by the lapels, and like lifted him off the ground. His little granola hippie armpit hair girlfriend right next to him was like, "Put him down, you bush lover."
Bush lover.
Yeah, it was.
And
I thought
well,
Coop was
simpler
gonna
time.
pile drive the guy.
let me insert my she did call me a bush lover, and I go, oh, I guess we have something in common. That was my comment to her. And then then I the provost, Dr. Shelley, got a hold of me because I guess I got reported to the provost, and I told him what happened. He's like, he started laughing. He goes, "Yeah, next time make sure you take him out behind the shed instead of in front of everybody," and he let it go. It was pretty cool. But
there was a different time where people would just be like, "Oh yeah, he
Well,
deserved it."
in fairness, one of the things that I've discovered at several of the universities is that most of the folks who actually have some of the power, the administrators, they'll back the ROTC program and some of the more traditional stuff. It happened even at UC Bug Eaters. I mean, UC Davis, the administration backed us when some of the hippie dudes were either trying to get us kicked off campus or running us down in the school newspaper.
I wonder if they
There's
even
probably
have an
some
ROTC
benefit.
program now.
oh yeah, there's a
But
huge
Davis,
financial. There's a
it's
huge
one of the biggest in
financial benefit.
California.
The
Okay.
the government writes that flat check for all the scholarship, plus they pay for all the they pay for the employees. We had what we
Okay.
had, Russ, when I was the executive officer over both programs. I think we had like 9 employees or something that were paid for by the university through.
If I was to think of all of them, I'm sure it would come out about that.
There's about 8 or 9 if I can remember right. But I got to tell you one cool thing that happened when I was at Sac State. And I was a full voting member of the faculty senate, and I was a full professor. They gave me all those nice little. So they were very respectful. We had the only day Sac State does this. I don't know if they still do, Quanta. Maybe you can speak to this, but they used to not do holidays. They would save them up and then give the students those days off in the summer or over a Christmas break instead. You didn't get like a 3-day weekend and stuff like that. But what they did do, and this is no shit, and it's kind of interesting, is that the one holiday that they gave everybody off was Cesar Chavez Day. I'm not kidding.
Oh boy. It's a big day in Sacramento. We have like a park. It's a whole thing.
It is. I live in that.
It's a whole thing.
I lived in allergy fucking capital of the world there. But I kind of took offense to that. Yes, I took offense to it in a lot of ways. But I wrote a letter to the university president, and at the time it was a gentleman named Gonzalez, and I didn't realize it, but he was an Air Force vet or Air Force vet, yeah, Air Force veteran. Anyway, I wrote a letter to him saying that the fact that you give the students this day off, and this isn't even an American, yet Veterans Day and Memorial Day don't have days off. La 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 la. Well, you know what? I got to give the guy all the Alex Gonzalez, I believe, was the president. I got to give the guy all the credit in the world. I wrote him a very respectful, nicely crafted letter saying, how kind of offensive it was, and this is the one holiday. Yep, guess what? Veterans and Memorial Day. He turned those into school holidays that next year.
Yeah.
I don't know if
he's like, you're right, and I'm like, well,
they were.
You know what? Being respectful and knowing how to write a letter sometimes helps.
I don't
Also
know
a
if you
time
remember
where
this.
people, like at that time, it was a simpler time where people would actually do what was in their best interests. You know what I mean? Like now it's like,
Weird, right?
it's like, I don't really care if this cuts funding and like decimates our staff and and we don't have the ability to give raises to teachers anymore. I want these people off campus.
Yeah.
Right.
Back then it was more like I don't know what happened.
Well, Coop, I don't know if you remember this. Every
SSRIs
spring,
or everybody going crazy.
Definitely SSRIs.
every spring we would go to what we called the Spring FTX. It was a field training exercise at Beale Air Force Base, and we would gather at UC Davis. We'd have everybody we'd have the weapons racks there. People would draw the weapons, and we'd get in formation, get on the buses, and head off to Beale Air Force Base.
Quan and Chris, those are guns. Weapons, guns. That's
okay. So anyway, we our boss at the time really didn't look at the calendar and had us departing on Earth Day.
Oh God.
And
Another big
as
holiday
we
in
are-
Sacramento.
What's that
as we are
smell?
leaving campus, like the ROTC building is surrounded by these hippie guys holding up the signs about, war never solves anything. Somebody, as we were on the bus, was beside the bus waving a United Nations flag at us, and talking about how we should all be for peace. So it was a comical experience to witness Granola Day as we had our weapons all in uniform heading out for a weekend of war training.
Even
Was
funnier
that
was
was
when
that
you
the
all failed your drugs test.
was that the
Your
year? Was that
entire
the year I
unit
got?
tested positive for THC.
Was that the year I got chewed out by Don, or was that the year I got chewed out by Mike?
That was the year we got cheated by Don.
Okay, yeah, because I asked that one kid whether he thought that M16 could fit up his ass or not
Something like that.
in front of his mom and dad. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then there was but we also had a culture clash with another military
I was
group.
very popular on campus.
We had a culture clash with another military group. At Sac State, they don't just have Army ROTC, they have Air Force ROTC. But the mindset between the Army and the Air Force is different. And especially with what I was in, the infantry is like the most arrogant, most brash subset of the Army that exists. And I was treating what?
You.
So I was treating the cadets the way I would treat soldiers. And the Air Force cadets are a lot more sensitive than the Army cadets. So the Air Force lieutenant colonel called me into his office because he
They're
was
so
mad at me
pretty.
because I twice yelled at his cadets. Once they were lowering the flag outside, and they were doing, I don't remember exactly what they were doing wrong, but they were doing something wrong. And I'm doing the salute, and I said, hey, you need to do it like this. And they just kept doing it wrong. I said, or you can ignore me like I'm an asshole. And that, for some reason, set him into tears. And then a couple of days later at physical training out on the track, there's a stadium there, and part of the Army physical fitness test is to run 2 miles, which is 8 laps around the track. Well, we're running our 2 miles, and the Air Force cadets, because they don't actually have planes in Air Force ROTC, they're basically just marching around, play pretending like drill and ceremony and stuff. And they start wandering onto the track when we have folks who are running around the track. And the first time, I'm like, hey, everybody, y'all need to get off the track. We're running a physical fitness test. And the second time they got on there, I'm like, everybody, move off the track. I don't want to tell you again. The third time they got on the track, I was not a nice man about it. The R. Lee Ermey from Full Metal Jacket comes to mind. And the Air Force colonel had some issues with that. And as we're in his office, he was like, if you do this again, I'm going to go talk to your boss. I said, I can get him on the phone right now. Let's give him a call. Because, I mean, there were some members of our department that he got onto, but for some reason he liked Coop and I, and we were able to get away with a lot of stuff. So that was a lot of fun to see the snowflake difference between some of the Army cadets and some of the Air Force cadets who just did not care for, at the time, Major Meyer being a big old meanie.
Mike.
It's also
Mike,
a time where if you were extremely competent, like you're good.
yes, yeah,
You're good. Like you demonstrate your value to these people all the time, whether they like you or whether they want you to exist or not. Like you're
Absolutely.
demonstrating value, and I'm extremely competent. Do you really want to cause problems for me? But nowadays it's like they'll just be like, yeah, I do. I really do.
Yeah, I do want to cause
But
problems.
I'm just gonna say you rape me. I'll just be like whatever I want to. I'll just make up whatever I want.
The one thing I miss about the Army, and I'm sure Russ can attest to this, and I won't bore you with the numbers, but it's when you get rated, you have your officer evaluation report. You get rated annually, or when you have a change of rate, or when your boss leaves, or you leave a command, or something like that. And that's really the biggest thing that goes into your file for promotions. And I have never in my entire life not had a what really matters is your what's called a senior rater profile. So it's not so much what your boss says, it's what his boss says about you that kind of distinguishes you, which is kind of fake because your boss is the one that convinces his boss, usually, because they're a lot of times they're not in direct contact with you sometimes, but a lot of times they don't see you. But I've never had anything less than top block. And
You got
all
your
the
boss to convince his boss that,
right.
yeah.
So all the 27 years I was in the army, I had a top, and that's incredibly ridiculous. I mean that nobody does that. Okay, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it. What Mike said, which the guy that Mark, or excuse me, Mark,
Yeah,
Mark,
Mark.
it's Mark. Yes, that the guy that Russ and I work for that we both love very much. I don't know why I called him Mike earlier. Mark, our boss, said to me when I looked at my OER, and I'm like, sir, I didn't deserve this. And he goes, Coop, if a week goes by that I don't apologize to my boss on your behalf, then we're not having a good week. And I had bosses that did that. I mean, because I pissed people off a lot. Russ can attest, you even in the short couple of years that we worked together. I stirred the pot, and it wasn't because I'm a dick. It's because
Really,
I
kind of.
well,
I mean,
it's
come on,
not
Coop.
just
Like
because
a couple of
not
us on this call know that you are a
it's
dick.
not just because I'm a dick. It's in addition to
Better
me
way to
being
put
a
it.
dick. But I cared, and I didn't throttle back, and I had the army and our best interests at heart, and my at that time the cadets and all of that, and I had bosses that would fend for me because I wasn't politically correct. That's one of the reasons I didn't stay in and become a general and all that kind of thing. Because there's no way I'm not a political animal by any stretch. And once you get up to the rank that Russ and I were at when you get out, it's pretty much politics. If you want to go any further, it's a lot of politics. But no, I had bosses, to your point, Chris, that would do that were my advocates. Um, they were like, and it's kind of funny. It's like,
It
well,
works that way in the private
you got
sector
to
too.
understand, Koopman, and here's what Koopman's about, and but look at what he's accomplished, and look what he does. And my soldiers and NCOs were very, 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 very loyal to me throughout my career. I'm still very good friends with a lot of people. Even I'm friends. My very first platoon leader job in the first cav at Fort Hood, I still probably talk to 10 of those guys that were when I was 25 years old. I still probably talk to them on a monthly basis. And so that's a generation of people. It's like, yeah, I worked for a lot of competent assholes. I did. I worked for a lot of competent assholes, and I didn't mind that. I
Mhm.
did not mind that at all.
Well, we used to
Underneath
live
that
in a
assholeness,
results. We used to
yeah, and
live
underneath that
in a
assholeness,
results
there was
business.
a good man there. I can guarantee you, almost to a point, there was a good man underneath that assholeness. Once you got to know him a little bit underneath the uniform, and I was very loyal to a lot of very competent assholes, and that's kind of how I swing this way back around.
They
That's
were
why I
probably
didn't like
good
Donald
men.
Trump. That's why I don't mind Donald Trump as during his presidency.
Yeah,
He's a
they were
competent
probably
asshole.
they were probably good men, but at the same time, it's like it almost didn't matter because this is a results oriented world. At that, like not that long ago, it was a results oriented world. So
Right.
you could be a little,
Now,
you could be a little
Rough
edgy
around
and
the edges.
you could be a little rough around the edges.
let
But
me let me interject
if you
here.
got everything shipped that day,
Let me
if
interject
you,
here. I had some great bosses who could be harsh, but I also had some absolute assholes who, to this day, if I was to run into them, it might come to violence.
some
Maybe not many.
show bulls or
No, like I
show
mean,
bulls.
maybe not many, but there
They do
there
exist.
there are
They do
two I can
exist.
think of that you know. And look, in the infantry, in the infantry, we produce more than our share of assholes in the infantry. Just kind of what draws folks there. I had some great bosses, but I had some that couldn't lead a squad of starving Ethiopians to the breakfast buffet at Shoney's. But they yelled a lot.
Shoney's,
So
really? Shoney's
it,
reference?
yeah, so it's a matter of that balance, trying to make sure that you can be harsh to an extent, but you better know your job, and you don't have to be harsh just for the sake of doing so.
You better produce results.
Yep.
That's it. Like I'm in sales. Like if I have good numbers, I can pretty much say and do whatever I want to. If I have a good year, I can do whatever I want. A bad
Yeah.
year, I got to be a little more careful about, you know, the my rough edges,
Yeah.
But
Well, now that I'm back in the civilian sector, I've had to temper my rough edges a little bit more than yeah. I've had
yeah,
to learn civilian speak. There's been a few things that
yeah.
have been culture shocks getting out of the army.
but just trying to draw some comparison is like, yeah, that's it was a results business. If you wanted to make your boss look good to his boss, because that is like that's it.
Yep.
If you make your boss look good to his boss, whether you work at McDonald's or, you know, the military or in sales or whatever, uh, that's the answer.
Yep.
Like you're gonna like no one's gonna not a lot of people are gonna want to F with you if you're making your boss look good to his boss. Not a lot of people are gonna F with you.
Yep.
But nowadays it's like, how do you make your boss look good to his boss? It's not nowadays, it's not really, I mean, it'll get back to just money and just pure results, but nowadays it's kind of perverted. It's like, I'm not really sure
Yeah.
how is it increasing my numbers, or is it hiring the right people or saying the right
Saying the right thing.
things or smiling or like making sure that I list my pronouns at the next Zoom meeting and
Yeah, I'm not
announce myself
ever
as
gonna
a,
do that.
yeah, it's like, it's different, but we're going to get back to it because that's what humans do. We get
The
back to
pendulum
like,
swings. The
it's a,
pendulum
it's a
swings both ways.
results.
It's starting to already swing back a little bit. We're hitting some resistance on the swing back, but
Yeah.
it is happening.
Yeah. We're getting back to a results oriented species, where it's like, are you happy? Are your kids fed? Like getting back to some simple things instead of like, are everybody's feelings, is every, are all 350 million of us feeling good about ourselves?
The sign
Like,
of the
that's
apocalypse
not
to
the
me
proper, that's not the
was
priority.
sign of the apocalypse to me was Shane Gillis actually hosting Saturday Night Live last weekend.
Oh, that was
That was
so funny.
hysterical.
I mean, it's
How many times have you watched the
so
Liberty
amazing.
Mutual?
And I heard about that controversy when he before he got huge and
Yeah.
got Rogan huge,
Funny,
and
right?
I watched his stand-up special on YouTube. I'm like, this guy's fucking brilliant. I mean, he's literally hilarious. And
He's like a classic comic. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like
classic
he's really
comedy.
funny.
He's in the line of like
Just-
Carlin-esque kind of situational, existential, when he talked about how he was a special ed basketball coach or Special Olympics basketball coach, and talking about how he looks and how the kids love him because I look like one of them. He had me,
Mhm.
he had me at that joke. And seeing him host Saturday Night Live, I'm like, okay, things have swung back. Things have
Or
swung
they're
around.
swinging back.
They're
Yeah,
swinging. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
swinging
yeah,
back.
yeah.
And of course,
Yeah.
the mainstream media is like, oh, he sucked on that, and he crashed and it burned. And
No.
I'm like, no, he was brilliant on
The
that.
bottom line was like Lauren Michaels was like,
Holy shit, what was that?
this product we're making is not as funny.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. Like Lauren Michaels was
Yeah.
like, this
Really
product
been
is not
horrible.
as funny, and we're losing money, and I'm about to, I might lose my job. Like I might, like I don't want to. I'm a legend right now. Lauren Michaels is a legend. Do I
Right.
want to do I want to get shit canned, or
Right.
do I
Right.
want to make this show funny again?
Oh, it's been horrible for years and years and years.
Oh
and years.
yeah, yeah. It's been
One of the
bad, real bad.
One of the reasons I like listening to Rogan talks a lot about the world of stand up. He talks about what works and what doesn't, and a lot of the hipsters that they just go out for what's called clapter. They'll make a statement hoping to get applause,
Mhm.
and those are the ones that are usually trying to stab other comedians in the back to rise in the rankings. Is those folks aren't funny. He talks about comedy is about pushing boundaries, making fun of people, making fun of yourself. And you write a lot of edgy stuff that sometimes it lands great, sometimes it absolutely bombs. And at Shane Gillis, I actually listened to an interview he did on Rogan, and he tried to make a couple of jokes on Rogan that bombed, and Rogan called him out on it. And then they went on later, and he had some great stuff. But yeah, it's some folks are getting back to some good comedy. There's one guy that I like that out there I've discovered in the last few months. Coop thinks he's a douche. He is a douche. He leans into it. I don't know if you've watched any of Matt Rife's comedy. Um, Matt Rife,
Oh yeah, I've heard the name many times. Yep.
he is a boy douche without question. He leans into that. But one of the things that I really respected him for, Coop, I don't know if you saw this. He did a special, and he actually made a domestic violence joke on his special, and
Yeah.
there were a lot of people that were upset
Yep.
about that, and so
Yeah.
he went on his Instagram page and said, "Hey, if you were offended by my joke, here's a link to my official apology." And it was a link to a page for helmets for special needs children.
Oh, that's so funny.
And
I
I'm like,
know.
look, dude, you may be a
I
douche,
admire
but
that.
that is hysterical.
I
I will
admire it. I
admit,
like it. I also think that some of these young comedians are like very savvy in terms of marketing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like they kind of they're like I don't know if you could say unprincipled comics, maybe to where they don't have a theme. They didn't set out with a theme and this is I want to change the world. It's like I just want to become famous. And
Right.
so if like making fun of trans people is good today, do it. If making fun of special needs is good
Well,
tomorrow, do it. Like
Rife does this thing about,
but he's also very young, so I'll give him a lot of space.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
Rife is like 25 or 26. He does this thing
Yeah.
about gay people, and he's like, people accuse me of being a homophobe. They say you're projecting, you're projecting what you really are. It's like, yeah, because I'm hanging out with all these gay people because I love sucking cock. I mean, it's hysterical that how much he leans into this and looks for people to offend
Right.
when he's doing this, because he's
Yeah.
like, I have gay friends. I'm not projecting anything. This is about comedy. This is about everybody is going to take the hit, me included. And you need to get
It
over
doesn't hurt
yourself.
that he's so good looking too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If I've heard that.
You
Yeah.
know,
I knew you'd say
if
that.
he was, look, well,
Yeah.
I
If he was
mean,
like again 5'2" and balding, that's
Yeah.
not fun. That's not funny, man.
He was
It's just
5'2",
not funny.
balding, weighed
Like,
300
get
pounds, and had boils on his face.
there's
I
Jeff
know,
Ross.
well,
You go to
yeah.
the extreme, and there's Jeff Ross. You can get
Yeah.
away with it because you're so repulsive looking that you just embrace it like Jeff Ross. But hey, I was
Yeah.
just going to ask you guys real quick: is it homophobic? I mean, I think dick is so disgusting. I do, and I am straighter than a machine that makes arrows. I think dick is so disgusting that I masturbate in the dark. Is that homophobic? Or?
Hey, Chris, this would go with our Tubin discussion on Happy Hour.
I do.
All
Oh
right,
man, I don't know,
motherfuckers.
man. It's like
We had Coop. We had a whole discussion about Jeremy Tubin cleaning the rifle on Happy
no,
Hour.
I don't get how you could do that. I can't even look at my own dick. I think it's so gross. So.
Okay, let's see if we can move on to something else.
I got a nice
Yeah.
dick. It's very friendly. It's very friendly. It's nice. But
yeah.
it's not aggressive.
I don't know where we
I
go
have to
from
think about that for a minute. Not a lot. I don't want to think about it in depth. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But
No,
I'll think about it. I'll think about it on a very
I respect you guys.
when it
and so
comes
very
to-
superficial
when it
level
comes to
for
Coop's dick, I don't
I
think
respect
depth
you
is
guys.
something
So
you have to worry about.
I wanted to be vulnerable with you here, and nobody's
Yeah.
gonna since we have a very private moment. Oh wait.
That's right. We're live on YouTube.
I don't know if you I don't know. I would probably I probably need to get a team of psychiatrists. If you beat off in the dark and you have to beat off in the dark, I'd probably need a team of psychiatrists to evaluate you.
I should probably bring it up with my trauma therapist at the VA
Yeah.
and see what she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See if she leaves the room or not. Like,
Yeah.
Or she turns off the light.
like,
Exactly.
I am not professionally obligated to listen to this.
The sad thing is, like all the VA therapists that I've been through, and yeah, I go to therapy. Fuck off, everybody.
Notice I said all of them.
They're
He's the
they
only one
are
on this call.
every single
team,
one I've ever
the
had.
team.
Every single one I ever had is a very attractive young woman. I mean, it's not like the curmudgeonly, the people that get into that line of work, the trauma therapists and stuff like that are all.
Mhm.
And there's nothing sexual there, but it's just amazing. Like every single one of them has been like somebody that I would go out with back, 20 years ago. Actually, that's it's crazy how
They
how
mark that
is.
in your file.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Do not
Well,
give him
Dr.
the 80-year-old man.
Yeah,
He's not going to open up to the 80-year-old doctor.
yeah. The guy with the gnarled fists and stuff like that. Shut
Come
up,
in
you
wearing a
fucking
bikini
pussy.
top.
Well, I watched dodgeball last night while I was sitting in my
Like,
cabin on the beach. While
Don't give you the therapist. It's like when I was going to school with Freud,
right?
we used to party. We used to do absinthe like crazy.
The dodgeball guy,
Oh,
what's his name?
cocaine.
Rip Torn, the guy that was the coach.
Yeah.
Rip Torn in the
Rip
wheelchair. Yeah. That's what I always pictured. Like VA counselors. No, they're all hot and they're all female.
Nice.
Therapy's good, man, if you're using it for you and you're making progress and you're learning things about yourself. 100%, man. I'm not gonna make fun of that at all.
Never.
Oh no,
Because
it's good stuff.
there could be talking to a doctor, it could be talking to your best friend, it could be talking to whatever, be talking to like thin air, as I often do.
It's nice. It's nice to get people who, because of my personality, people don't often tell me the truth about myself that are close to me, and it's
I
nice to
do.
get somebody that truth. Well, Russ does, but Russ is kind of a fucking prick.
Yeah.
But it's nice to get somebody who's just completely objective, who does care. I mean, I don't feel like any of these people don't care. They wouldn't be in the profession if they were. But it's just a nice, because I'm complicated. I'm kind of a dick, and well, I'm not. I'm just complicated. My history is very complicated, and to unravel that and to get me to talk about stuff and not hide behind all these layers that I do with my personality and all this kind of stuff. It's very valuable. It's very valuable, and I'm a man
Oh,
of faith too.
a
So
million
I also
percent.
go there. So
Glad it's working for you. That's
yeah,
wonderful.
I can
yeah.
relate, man. I can relate. Yeah, like I've always just been a kind of like a if you listen to me, you might figure out what I'm thinking or feeling or whatever, but I'm never gonna tell you what. Yeah. Unless there's
No,
some kind of unless you're gonna lose your job over it. You know what I mean? Unless your job is literally like gonna be lost if you tell people what I told you.
right. No, I
Yeah,
get Russ has said this to me on numerous occasions throughout our friendship. Why didn't you just tell me what was going on? I mean, he has said that numerous times. And it's like, and I'm as close to Russ as I am to any of my friends. And it's like, it's just not my way, man. I don't like to burden people.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't
gonna
like
say
to
I could
burden
never
people.
even tell a therapist. I feel like I would make them cry. I don't want to make
Seems
anyone
like, yeah,
sad.
like
I
I know,
have.
I
I have.
understand.
Kinda
You'd be one of
I
those-
got it.
You'd be one of
I've
those
said
like
it to
my
other
therapist committed
friends.
suicide. She blamed me in the note.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'll just carry it. I got it. I'm good. I've been carrying it for
Yeah.
a long time.
I've said it to
It's
other
fine.
friends, like, you can tell me whatever, but I was like, oh, but I know that's not how it
But
works.
please don't.
Yeah. Or it's just not how it works.
Yeah.
No,
Like it's with dudes, it's just not how it works. Just not going to tell you.
I always
Yeah.
say it's harder to be a guy. You guys have all the weight of the world. You have to kill the bears. You have to get the food. You have to all the things. Like it's just like it's all just put on the man. It's harder for you guys.
I'm not going to, yeah, I think we can all get behind that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a different kind of hard for each. I think we all
Yeah, it
each
is.
have it hard. We have it hard in different ways.
I feel sorry for men and women today because
No, I do too.
neither gender, neither group is like, or they should, and many do, but like a lot of them are just like there's so many things thrown in that they don't know what they're supposed to be. Like,
That's true. That's very true.
am I supposed to go hunting and like kick somebody's ass at little league practice today? Or am I supposed to just like kind of, you know, keep, just make money and just like kind of make sure we have health insurance? Like, what am I supposed to be? And then on the women's side, it's like, am I supposed to go out there and kick ass and get a corporate gig, or am I supposed to like master the crock pot? I don't know. And I'm confused. I think both men and women today are confused to some
Yeah.
degree.
And
I
this
think
this
I think the government's done that, and I think it's intentional, and I think it's to make children not like it takes away the whole family thing. Like it takes away the structure of the family.
well it's only been
There's
it's a
that, yeah.
phenomenon that's only about 60 to 65 years old. Prior to then, there were very defined roles. Even when women had to go in the workforce in World War II, it reverted after that. So
in
ever
our
since
in
the
our
introduction,
run,
what's that?
in our kind of modern society, it's
Yeah, yeah. But within the last 65 years is when it's the confusion has really set in. Since the introduction of uh, greater technological progress, greater societal progress, the introduction of birth control has really changed that because before, there were a lot of, 7-month babies out there. Parents were only married for 7 months. If you got a chick pregnant, that was
even before that, wasn't it just like like a tampon? Like before like
yeah.
birth control and like the tampon gave women freedom. Am I crazy?
Oh no,
I haven't
you're
gone
Should
to
I
study
not be?
tampon, so I don't know.
Have I
Word,
said
you're
that?
right.
I've said that word
No,
like I've never said
it's
the
been
word
so
before in my
long.
life, and I've
It's
said it
been
3
so
times in
long.
the last 30 seconds.
It's
was-
been so long
I was
since
really
I've heard that
wondering
word.
I was so wondering what that had to do with anything, but now it makes sense. Thank
Like
you.
if my
No,
wife was like,
yeah,
"Can you go
you're
to
right.
CVS and pick?" Like she wouldn't even spell it out, and I'd be like,
Yeah. On it.
"Get those
I
things."
had
Like,
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend who tested my loyalty to see if I would go buy her tampons at Rite Aid, and that's our CVS up here. And not only did I buy tampons, I bought like the Pro Magnum condoms, like 3 boxes of them, and
Oh my God.
Well,
because I don't give a fuck.
I
it's
can't.
like
yeah,
it's like
the
somebody I listened to once said, never send a guy into a sex store to get a dildo because the smart guy would come out with one like that's the size of a chapstick. So the woman would be like, nah, let's use your dick. But the guy's going to come out with a thing that's got the shoulder strap and the kickstand, and you got to pull the cord because he wants to be super macho.
there was an there was an
Operator
there was
Zilla.
I learned early on, like like there's certain jobs that women ask you to do that you just don't want to do well. You know what I mean? Like you don't like you need to do when they ask you to do something like, and you don't want them to ask you to do it again. Like do that job badly. Like
Who am I?
fuck
Who are you
it up bad.
telling? Who are
There
you
was a
telling?
there was a Everybody Loves Raymond episode where Ray Ray's brother Robert, the big tall guy, was
Yeah.
like, my
All done
wife
with
is
him.
like, or my fiance, I have to do the wedding invitations. So Ray is just like, here's the deal. Just
I love
do the
Ray.
wedding invitations so badly that she never asks you to do anything again. And then he gets, the episode is like where it gets found out that he's the one that gave the advice.
Yeah, well, it's the
Like if you get tasked to go to like come back with anything, come back with a CPAP machine. Like if you you know what I mean? Like be like, is this it? Is this the right one? Does this fit you?
well, it's
Imagine.
look. I know his name is taboo now because of all the whole drugging women and raping them thing. But on Bill Cosby himself, what are you playing, Coop?
Being replaced by batteries. She just wants to play with her toys.
Oh
I can
gosh.
kinda-
All right, guys. Happy Friday, y'all. It has been so fun having the
Yeah, we
Grumpy
probably do
Bastards
need to get out of
join
here.
us.
Somebody's got to pee.
Yeah.
That's the immortal Mojo Nixon and the song Vibrator Dependent.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's right.
Always good to talk with you guys.
You should share that in therapy next week.
And it's almost time for old people like me to go to bed. So
Yeah, always good to talk with you
Exactly.
guys. We could just go on
Me
forever
too.
about just
I'm
Thanks
sure
for
we
coming.
do it. We do always tend to go about 2 hours or more.
I know. Well, whenever you want to have a 3-hour grumpy bastard, just let us know.
We can have 2 hours all the time.
We got to do that, Russ. We got to do a live feed on Two Grumpy Bastards. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
the
I love you
right.
guys. Love your show. Yeah, really do.
Yeah.
Two grumpy bastards. Look it up anywhere. These guys
Appreciate
know
y'all
what they're
having us
talking
on.
about. Like
Glad that you guys are back.
we
We
talk
might play-
shit with
We can play
talk
Vibrator Dependent by Mojo Nixon on the next
Yeah.
show.
on our podcast. We
Nice.
talk a lot of shit with
And make me look
like
retro, orange and teal.
We'll do the orange and
We'll
teal.
do that, Connor. We'll definitely do that for you.
Yes. You
Just-
don't need to look retro, Quana. You are ageless.
Thank you.
Aw,
Aw.
cool.
Always right and ageless. I mean, this guy. Glad we're BFFs again, Coop. Happy Friday, you guys. Thanks
All right.
for coming.
Y'all take care.
Yeah. Take care. Do what you
Good
want.
seeing you guys.
Get